morning, Sri Lanka. It's another great Wednesday morning. You're here with me, Amaya.
And I am Basam, and you are here on Good Morning Sri Lanka on MTV Sports on a beautiful Wednesday morning once again. And it's not just you who's back, and I've been back for just over 1.5 months. And Amaya, I need to tell you,
Basam is new to this set.
It's not been like this when I was here before. It was way too formal. Actually, I came in and I had a look at the set for the first time. It looks really, really cool if you ask me. How has it been going for you?
Great, it's been going great.
And it's not just that. I met Amaya today just for the very first time this morning, and she seems to be a very nice, chirpy young girl. Quite enthusiastic.
Thank you, Basam. And today we have a great guest with us here in the studio as
Definitely,
well. Right?
Definitely we do, and we will come to that quite shortly. But then again, Amaya, I mean, you would have noticed there's been a lot of changes lately over the weekend. I mean, I work for a corporate myself, and after the weekend I turned up, and the last 2 days half my floor was empty because a lot of people have been complaining about the flu.
I think the weather has been quite dramatic recently.
Yes, and of course, if you are going up and about, there seems to be a lot of weather changes lately, so you should take a lot of precaution. A lot of people, doctors are advising these days to wash your hands well, and make sure you don't touch your hands all the time if you have not rinsed them, because that is one way that they do get a lot of infections. Also, Amaya, another interesting thing that I heard over the weekend is okay, before I get to that, I need to ask you this question. Have you ever been pelted with eggs?
Pelted with eggs is not something I have experienced.
Well, I'll tell you something. I've been pelted with eggs when I was in school, and it sounds fun, but it's not when you actually
it doesn't even sound
hit.
fun, actually. It doesn't sound fun.
Over the weekend, this very famous show, I'm sure a lot of people know about it, which is Britain's Got Talent, and a very prominent personality who's Simon Cowell actually got pelted with eggs during the show. And it wasn't fun. And of course, talking about a different kind of talent, as you mentioned, we do have a very, very, very talented guest in the studio. A different kind of talent. He is an artist. Would you like to introduce him, Amaya?
Definitely. And today in the studio with us, we're privileged to have a great artist, but also a painter who has transcended the canvas. And he has also used his voice to discuss about the social and the ethnic issues that we have in our country. So he is an artist, an activist, as well as a teacher.
And also he is the director of the Vibhavi Academy of Fine Arts.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning to you,
Good
sir.
morning.
How are you?
Mr. Chandragupta Tenuvara.
Yes.
Well, introducing Mr. Chandragupta Tenutwara, and he is absolutely famous. A lot of people know him. He is, like I said, the director of the Vibhavi Academy, and he is also a lecturer at the Colombo University
for University of Visual and Performing Arts.
Visual and Performing Arts for aesthetic studies. So, welcome, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Not bad.
Has the weather been affecting you lately?
Yes, a little bit catching up with
a lot of people, not just you. So, I need to actually ask you this question, sir. I mean, you are a prominent artist, and a lot of people know about your work. And one thing which I've noticed is, just as art isn't as consistent, it's not a consistent topic, so is the definition of art. A lot of artists have their own thing to say about what they feel about art itself. So can you just tell us what you think art really is?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I have one correction. I don't know I'm a prominent artist or not. It's for you.
We beg to differ. I think you've been in the industry for 33 years, and you're very well known.
But art is sometimes nothing. Yeah, it's what we are doing. Sometimes we have our skills and thinking patterns and emotions, and sometimes art is beautiful things, sometimes not that much beautiful. It's very ugly. It depends on the situation what we are creating, and sometimes there are art. What I do normally is I do it for myself and the society. So I'm not gaining anything in return. So I'm not thinking about some kind of money or sell my artwork. So that is why I can do whatever I want. So I spend my money or time with that art. So those kind of art might be not art, it's ugly, might be the very highly. When you come to my exhibition hall, might be you see there is nothing, but you have to find my artworks. And you go outside of street, and sometimes I recognize some pieces as art, and sometimes I reproduce them.
And also, sir, people do say that art is never complete.
Yeah, it's one thing is that art is expensive, and art is dead. Dead artworks are very expensive. So then when we are living, so then we have questions, issues, what is art and not art. So that is why it's very difficult to define art. But we know that you need a skill, you need knowledge, you need practice. You have to give your everything to art. Then you can make art. So that is the way of living and way of doing.
Speaking about art and going back to your roots, sir, so you once said that the existing education system and the social value system was bent on destroying the artist in me, pushing me forcibly towards the science stream, end quote.
Yes, that's the...
So tell us something about how you started out as artist.
Yeah,
this seems an interesting story.
That's a very normal thing now is happening these days when you are studying well, normally. So if you are getting high marks for your subjects, everybody thinks you are going to be a scientist. So it's happened to me, and I got my scholarships, and so I came to Colombo, and they thought I'm very good for the science, so then they put me into science stream. Thanks God, if God is there. So then I failed luckily in my O-level exam.
Well, that's not something you usually hear when you say, thank God I failed, but definitely in this circumstance it has served you quite well.
At that time also I had this kind of fever, like not art fever, but kind of bad situation. So then I thanks to not the education system, my health, and I failed. So then you have to do what you want to do. Then you have to start again, and then you have to find your own way. So that's the way I found my way.
Okay. Also, can you just tell us a little bit about the Vibhavi Academy of Fine Arts? So you did tell me that you are the founder of the academy.
When I studied in Russia nearly 10 years, so then I came back to Sri Lanka in 1993, end of 1992, and so 1993 I started this school. And then when I came to Sri Lanka, I found that there is no space to study art like without tuitioning. So there might be artists who can give some technical advice and those kind of things, but I wanted to create the environment any person can come without any qualification of art. So I believe that everybody has that talent. Normally the system is killing those talents. So that is why I think anyone can enter the art space, and then they can, if they want. Main thing is you have to have an intention to make art, and dedication, and practice. So that's the space we created. So we are not asking any qualification, paper qualifications. So that is why I'm not issuing any certificates, so-called. You can't frame them. But
because at the end of the day, it's not art is not really a qualification. It's something that is
work
in
you do.
And different people are influenced in different ways. Be it any nature of art, not just painting or sculpturing. It could be theatre. It could be anything.
Yeah, that is why we have to support children who wants to do any kind of science, computer, art, dance, sports, and that democracy has to be there. Children has to have that right to choose their education.
Just touching on the same subject which we were talking about. I mean, like you said, you're here. You said you're here thanks to the fact that you've failed in terms of
my O-levels,
your O-levels. But here in Sri Lanka, a lot of kids are pressured to follow the streams, their fathers, their grandfathers. If your dad's a lawyer, you need to be a lawyer. Or people don't recognize art as something, to just carry your life forward. What kind of advice can you give to parents with that mind frame?
Then I will be a crazy person to tell those kind of things. We have to close the schools then.
But how important do you think is an art education? Even
No,
from the
that's the
primary
why.
level?
That's the main thing. So, art and sports, and those are the things normally
That shaped the, yes.
we are going to do without any instruction. Even before we talk, we draw, we paint, we make things. After that, we are looking for words to tell our expression. So that's our main language is art. So you can draw.
Okay.
Only 4 things is important in visual art: vertical, horizontal, diagonal, and curve. You mix them up, and then you get the art. So then anything you can create. So that confidence you have to build up. Otherwise, students going to the school and they fill up the sky is blue and tree trunk is brown and water is blue and deer always with spots on, like elephants are black, you can't paint blue elephant. There are no white elephants in the paintings, there should be kind of fixed the situation. So that is why sometimes it's becoming boring for some students. So
I see.
Then you have to struggle again to.
It's all about giving them a great foundation.
Yeah.
And I think on that note we can go for our first short break. But do stay with us. We'll be back with Mr. Chandragupta Tenuvara.